Welcome to the next session in the VERSO staff training series. In the last video, we talked about how to search for materials in WSCAT and SIL. Now I'm going to take you through the process of requesting materials for your patrons. As a reminder, please do a VERSO search for materials before searching for things outside of our system. Once you do expand your search, by checking all in the resource section, please look for true holdings to place your request on. For example, things that have available copies and are from the Wisconsin or Minnesota area. Library of Congress and blank options are not good choices unless no others exist. I also want to reiterate here, in terms of interlibrary loan, Minnesota or Minitex libraries are considered in-state because of a borrowing agreement which allows van delivery of their materials in the same way that Wisconsin libraries have van delivery. In all cases, when you're looking at a list of search results, enter the full record to verify that the owning libraries are ILL lenders. You can do that here under ILL lender. If this section is blank, it means that they will not send you anything. Once you choose your item, click the Request This Item button on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll be directed to a lookup screen where you can enter your patron's name or barcode. After selecting your patron, the WSCAT SIL request screen will come up, where you'll check some information and submit the request. There are a few checkboxes that you should pay special attention to. By default, most libraries have "Is any addition acceptable?" checked. That means that the item you selected and the item that comes may differ in some small ways. A second printing instead of a first edition of a book, or a single DVD instead of a 2-disc special edition of a movie. If you only want the very specific item you selected because of some specific element that your patron needs, uncheck this box. Next, the Try Out of State box. Some libraries have this checked and some have it unchecked by default. It's up to your library and its policies on whether you include this checkmark. Most out-of-state items come in the mail, which means an added expense to ship things back at the end of their borrowing term. Be sure you know your library's procedures here. Last, before hitting submit, scroll through the rest of the information to be sure that your patron information is correct and that there is an email or phone number and a barcode for your patron. Then click submit in the bottom right corner of the screen. A confirmation box will appear saying that your request was submitted. For libraries that help supply book clubs, you can also request multiple copies at one time. If you want to request all of the copies under different patron names, you need to do them individually. But if you'd like to batch order materials, there is a multi-request feature that was built to serve this purpose. After requesting all of the copies in SWLS, you may do a search in WSCAT or SIL and do a multi-copy request for the remaining copies needed. To do that, start by finding a resource that seems to have enough copies to fill your needs. In this example, I'll use CAFE, which is a Wisconsin system, to fill my multiple copy request. After entering the full record, rather than clicking Request This Item, you'll look for the multi-copy link beneath that. Again, you'll enter your library or your library's book club account just like you would a patron. And then you can move on through the forms checkboxes like we did for the individual request. There's a few different things about this request process. For multi-copy requests, You will be a little patient as the catalog searches for lenders to fill the multiple copies. After the loading stops, or there are more than enough current lenders for the quantity that you need, you can move on through the form's checkboxes like we did for the individual request. For most multi-copy book club requests, it's important to leave a borrower's note, indicating that it's for a book club and that all SWLS copies have already been requested. Next, you'll need to indicate the number of copies you need from WSCAT. This can be done in the number of copies needed, and then you'll finish by going through the form to ensure that you have the rest of the information. This is going to send the appropriate number of requests, but instead of following one single path like a typical request, they get spread out among the lenders so that they're filled more quickly and you'll get more at a time. Again, you'll wait to see that confirmation. And click OK. For libraries that have patrons who request WSCAT materials on their own, you'll likely see an awaiting approval area in your ILL admin request manager. Rather than just approving or disapproving these requests, library staff should search for the items in VERSO and then in SIL and place new requests and cancel the original patron requests. This is for two reasons. First, patrons sometimes do these requests through the WSCAT website rather than your VERSO one, meaning that they won't come through SIL properly and be attached to the patron record when they arrive. Secondly, patrons often don't do a thorough search and place blank requests without searching at all. So by placing new requests, you can ensure that everything going through the statewide process has been properly vetted by a library staff person. If you have any questions or desire more training for you or your staff, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help.